Hi, friends. Let's talk about what's really holding us back. Not our circumstances, not even the people around us, but the thoughts we allow to live rent-free in our heads. Studies show that the average person has about 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts a day. Of those, over 80% are negative and 95% are repetitive. That means most of what you're thinking today, you thought about yesterday, and it probably even wasn't helpful for you. It is so wild to me that we do this. And we have to get into it. So in this episode, we're going to talk about limiting thoughts and beliefs and how we can actually overcome it. Let's go. You're listening to the Driven Introvert Podcast, the place to be for dreamers, doers, and entrepreneurs who are ready to birth the dreams, callings, and ideas the Lord has placed in their hearts. Do you sense that God is calling you to step out and do something new, but you're held back by fear and uncertainty? Do you struggle with believing that you can do great things because of your quiet, reserved, and introverted nature? Welcome here. I'm Remy Roy, your host and founder of shepact.com. I'm an author, an entrepreneur, a creative, and a committed trier. I'm here to help you get unstuck and make progress on your God idea. Let's go. So this blows my mind. Over 70,000 thoughts a day, and 80% are negative, 95% are repetitive. Let's take a moment to reflect on that. If the majority of your daily thoughts are negative and recycled, what kind of life do we expect to build from that foundation? Some time ago, I was in a season where God was really walking me through my thoughts very intentionally. I realized I'd been talking to myself crazy, like literally. My thoughts were disempowering, and I wondered why I didn't feel confident, energized, and upbeat about life. You cannot feel what you don't think about. If you want to be happy, joyful, and live with that outlook, your thoughts have to lead the way. So, what are limiting thoughts? Let's talk about those. What is a limiting thought, right? I believe it's those thoughts, those quiet lies that whisper to you, you're not good enough, or I'll never succeed, or people like me don't get opportunities like that. What if I try and I fail again? Now, we don't even have to say these thoughts out loud. It's in your head, it's in your mind. And somehow it shows up in how you carry yourself, how you walk into a room, how you decide what opportunities to go after or not, even the people that you let into your life. Sometimes they even sound spiritual. Maybe it's not God's will for me to even try. But no, these are rooted in fear, not faith. And they show up in sneaky ways. Imagine when you procrastinate on applying for that opportunity, even though somehow, in your heart of hearts, you want it. You think about, it would be great if I had that opportunity. It would be great if I could do this or that. But you don't, because you let the fear overcome the faith. Or you say, I'm just being realistic, but really you're just scared. Realism sometimes can make us feel like, oh yeah, I'm being practical. No, that's not the point. Or maybe you dim your light in meetings, in spaces where you should speak up and talk and let your voice be heard. You know you have something valuable to say, but you don't. So you don't take those opportunities, and you keep letting those thoughts hold you back. Sometimes they can feel like wisdom. Like when you say, I'm being realistic, or I don't want to be too forward, I don't want to be that person. It might sound like wisdom, but really? No. They're chains dressed up as caution. So what are limiting thoughts costing you? What does it cost you? Missed opportunities. The things you could do. The things you could actually walk into. The rooms you could walk into. The places you could actually take up space in. But because you overthink it and you procrastinate and you're not confident of moving forward, you don't do it. But then you see someone else with less education, less expertise, less skills, but they're taking up those opportunities. They're moving ahead, they're doing those things. And you're wondering, how? Because they tried. Because they didn't give the limiting thoughts in their head and their minds the keys to their future. What else does it cost you? Loss of confidence. When you keep missing opportunities, The ones you know that if you actually tried it just a little bit more, you could get it. But you don't, and you miss it, and you miss the next one. You start losing confidence in yourself. You start losing confidence in the fact that you could actually maybe even do it. You start feeling like maybe you're not meant for those kinds of things. Maybe you're not meant to grow beyond where you are. Maybe you're not meant to get that promotion or that opportunity or do that project or be the one to be called to do this. And it's a cycle. What else does it cost you? Isolation and comparison. Because you keep thinking, like I said, you see someone else doing the thing that you thought, I would want to do that. But because you let the fear overcome the faith in your mind, now you're comparing yourself. And ultimately, there's a deep sense of unfulfillment that comes with all of that. This is a cycle, and we have to break it. I had to break it for myself. And it's a constant battle. It's like the battlefield of the mind. Think about when a car is stuck in, say, quicksand or mud. What is it that you need to do to get that car out of there? It's certainly not continuing to rev it up, spinning the wheels. It gets worse. You keep digging like a deeper hole for yourself. That is what happens when you constantly rehash limiting thoughts and negative beliefs about yourself. It's like it's going over and over and over in your head, but it needs to stop. So how do we stop them? How do we overcome limiting thoughts and beliefs so that we can actually walk confidently? Let me walk you through three practical ways to name and overcome limiting thoughts. This is rooted in both practical action and biblical truth. Number one, you need to identify the lie and name it. Name it aloud. The Bible says in Proverbs 23:7, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. What you think about constantly, you start to believe. And what you believe, you start to live out, even when you don't know it. You don't do it consciously. The people around you just notice that, you're just very negative. Like you're always seeing things in such a dark and disempowering way. So you need to pause and ask yourself, what is the thought behind my inaction? Because sometimes it's not just your actions, it's the things you don't do. What is holding you back from doing that thing? What is the thought? What is the story in your head that you're telling yourself that's stopping you from taking action? What am I telling myself that's keeping me stuck? That's keeping me spinning my wheels but going nowhere and feeling like I'm digging a deeper hole of overwhelm for myself? Name the lie out loud. Maybe if you really dig deep, you realize that deep down, you don't believe you're qualified. You don't believe that you have what it takes. Or maybe you just believe you're going to mess it up. You're just going to mess it up because you haven't done things right before. Bringing it to light strips it of its power. You need to name it. You need to bring it to the light. Don't sweep it under the rug. Don't try to cover it up and pretend it's not there. No. Name it out loud. Number 2, replace it with truth. Philippians 4:8 gives us the playbook. It says, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, think on these things. Once you name the lie, challenge it. Ask, what does God say about me? What does He say about me in this moment, in this situation? Here are a few examples. So this is a lie. I don't have what it takes. Well, the truth is you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. And in this particular situation, Paul was talking about just the things that are hard. In every situation, I can abound. Whether I am in need or whether I have plenty, I can do it. You need to have and adopt that mindset. You need to shut down the lie that tells you don't have what it takes. And if there's something you need to learn, go learn it. If there is a skill that you need to get to be able to walk into that thing or that space, go get it. But know that you can do it. Whatever you need to do to move your life forward, to be who God has called you to be, you can do it. Another lie is it's too late for me. And this one touches me 100%. And I do believe God had to work on me with this because so many things I felt I should have done when I was younger, I should have been able to have accomplished. And I beat myself up about it, and it makes me feel bad. And it feels like I'm just spinning my wheels now because I feel like it's too late, I'm too old. But the truth is, God makes everything beautiful in its time. Ecclesiastes 3:11. So wherever you are right now, whatever you need to be doing right now is the right time to do it. It wasn't yesterday, and it's not tomorrow. It's today. So write down these truths. Stick them on your mirror if you have to. Put them on your phone if you have to. Speak them out loud until they become your new default. I had to do this for myself. There was a time I would think about my work, and I think I've shared this on the podcast before. I would think about my work, even this podcast, the things I'm writing, the things I'm creating. And as I'm doing it, there's a disempowering feeling that comes over me. And I wonder, what is all of this for? Where is it going? Like, nobody cares. And the Lord had to really work on me. Like, you need to sit up straight and stop saying these things about yourself. You need to sit up straight and stop saying these things about the things that I've called you to do, because I'm doing a work in you. You may not see it now, you may not feel it now, you may not understand it now, but you have to trust me and keep taking a step at the right time. Keep putting one foot in front of the other. So let this be your new default. Truth against the lie. Number 3, take one courageous step. Don't wait until you feel ready. The antidote to limiting thought is obedient action. Be obedient. Do something with whatever it is that God has called you to do, whatever it is that you feel compelled to do in this moment. Take one small step of faith. Maybe you need to hit publish on that blog post or that book, submit that manuscript, stop holding onto it, submit it to that publisher or to that agent or whatever. Submit that application for that thing, make that call, reach out to that person. God doesn't always remove the fear before you move, but He meets you in motion. He meets you where you are when you are taking the right steps. He will walk with you if you are willing. Are you willing? Are you willing to say no to the lies and yes to the truth? No to fear and yes to faith. You can do this. And I'll leave you with this. You are not your thoughts. You are who God says you are. You are not those limiting thoughts, those limiting beliefs, those ideas that tell you you're not enough, you can't do it. No, that's not you. You are who God says you are. It is your job to get into the Word, to open your Bible, find God in the pages, connect with God on a deep and intimate level, and let Him speak life to you. And when you take those words of life, run with it. Do not let it go. If your thoughts are not aligned with God's truth, it's time to take them captive and make them obedient to Christ. Check out 2 Corinthians 10:5. See, you have too much purpose in you to be ruled by just recycled lies and limiting beliefs that don't move you forward, that don't take you anywhere. God has so much ahead for you, but you have to be ready to go on that journey with Him. Your thoughts are going to lead the way, and your feelings and everything else is going to follow. So fix those thoughts, my friend. So, what thought do you need to replace today? What have you been thinking about that isn't true, that isn't helping you, that isn't moving you forward, that you need to replace today? I know what those thoughts are for me. I know what I need to fix. I know what I need to pay attention to so that I can move forward. I'd love to hear from you. What thoughts do you need to replace with the truth today? And how can you begin to take those steps today? Remember, you need to 1, identify the lie and name it out loud. Number 2, you need to replace it with truth. And number 3, take one courageous step today. I'd love to hear from you. What is that courageous step you want to take? I'll be cheering you on. Send me an email at thedrivenintrovert@shepark.com. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoy this conversation, please take a moment to follow or subscribe to the podcast. I'd also love your feedback on this episode. You can scroll down on your app and click write a review. I'd love to read your takeaways from this conversation. As always, don't forget to take courage, trust God, and go pursue your big ideas. See you next time. The Driven Introvert is produced by shepack.com and Remy Roy. Want to ask a question or share a comment on a future episode? Click on the link in the show notes to record your question in a voicemail.